In this video, we're going to review the equipment that's needed for the goalkeeper for training. And some of this is very evident. Other coaches may not be as familiar with all the types of equipment that are necessary. Most of this is not terribly expensive, but is very important for the goalkeepers to have for their training. Multiple soccer balls are good, and you use a number 4 for 10U and 12U, and for 14U and up, it's a number 5 ball. Having multiple soccer balls is good because it allows the coach to serve up multiple balls at a time and can make the practice session more efficient for various skills. Goalkeepers should have a good pair of gloves. There are some activities where catching a ball with the bare hands is good for ball feel, but they're going to be playing with gloves in a game, so they have to spend the majority of their time on skills wearing the gloves that are the right fit and comfortable. Goalkeepers need a jersey, and it has to be a different color from their team jersey, and preferably one that has padded sleeves is going to be helpful and give them more reassurance for things like diving. There needs to be the standard disc-style soccer cones that are 2 inches high, the typical orange discs that we see, and that's good for setting out for goalkeepers to do footwork. Also, taller cones, the ones that are several inches high, they can be very useful for the goalkeepers to do hop steps for training and timing and for movement. And you can also buy those small little wire hurdles optionally, but they're not necessary. Tennis balls or smaller balls are also good to be able to serve up goalkeepers for reaction time training. And a landing cushion, and it doesn't have to be a gym mat. You can just get a large cushion like for a chaise lounge, an outside cushion. That can give the goalkeeper reassurance for landing for dive training, at least initially, until they learn the proper technique where they'll perceive that they won't get hurt landing on their side. And then a footwork ladder, that's typically used for soccer, and it's used for things like American football also. Can be useful, but you can do the same thing with cones, so that's really optional. Another piece of equipment that can be very useful for goalkeeper training is what we call a rebounder, which simply is a stiff net in a frame, or can be called the bounce back net, where the ball is served into the net and it just bounces back for the keeper to practice catching. That's really, an optional piece of equipment. They typically cost, $50 to $100, for a smaller one. But a coach and a keeper who wants to practice catching skills can simply find a wall to bounce the ball off of. It could be in a gymnasium, it could be a brick wall on the outside of a school, it might be a wall on their house at home that isn't going to get damaged, with throwing the ball off the wall. And that simply allows the goalkeeper also to practice catching skills. So you don't really need to buy a rebounder. And you can just find a good wall to bounce the ball off of. And during a course of 15 minutes, a kid could practice catching the ball 50 or 100 times. And you really can't practice catching the ball too much. So one other piece of equipment and approach for goalkeeper training.